Hi, and welcome to Designing with Casual Elegance. I am interior designer and your host, Susan Sage. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about myself. I do have a degree in interior design. I served on the college advisory board for the interiors program for 8 years. I do have my own company for over 20 years, and I have served on the architectural review board of our Homes Association for a number of years. So enough about that. I'm going to talk about design trends for 2023. And when I talk about trends, I'm not talking about trendy. For the past decade, we have been trending gray and white on white farmhouse looks. Those looks are beginning to wane a little bit. Color is coming back in. People want color again. And along with that, so are different styles. So in our furniture or our home decor styles, we are looking at French country and English country, both working back in. Now with French country, it's not French country of the 90s. It is not the bright yellow, the blue, and the red. It is very light, soft pastels. You will still see some painted and distressed furniture, and a lot of blush colors. And then in English country, you can see it's totally different, where you've got darker finishes, you've got layered patterns. They like to mix them up a lot, and they like to cover walls with a lot of art. It's interesting, you will see a lot of the same furniture pieces in both French and English, but in English, you will see generally darker finishes. So you can see this chair. Another trend that is up and coming is antique and vintage furniture. Pieces with natural wood tones. Here you see the lamp. That is just a natural wood. And that's just another way to warm up your home or your rooms, especially when you've had a lot of white on white or blue background colors. And again, this is a little vintage footstool, just in a natural finish. And when you jump over to this beautiful English chair, which is 18th century, you can see it's got the darker wood finish, which is very common in an English cottage or English country. Some other things that are trending up, aside from natural wood tones, are wallpaper. In wallpaper, I know a lot of people have committed themselves to shiplap and different wall treatments. Well, if you do shiplap, it is very expensive, and it's kind of a permanent thing that you're doing to your wall. So wallpapers today have very real-looking designs, and what you can do with this, instead of committing to long-term with shiplap, hang it horizontally. And then you've got the same look. And if somebody tells you can't do wallpaper on a textured wall, well, you can, because we have done it. The other nice thing, wallpaper isn't like what it used to be. I think we've all gone through trying to scrape wallpaper off walls that were not properly prepped. You have to size your walls first, then hang the wallpaper. That way, when you go to remove it, you can easily score it, spray it down. Trick is let it soak and start releasing from the wall. The other thing we have today, and we used it here on our backdrop, is peel and stick wallpaper. They have some really great looks with that, and it's just kind of fun. Not a big commitment like regular wallpaper is. But if you look at the cost of shiplap versus wallpaper, and the commitment, you're talking about a lot of cost. Another look that I think is very real, of course, is brick. Something else that is starting to trend up is natural stone. And we see your deep colors, and you're going to see this more in an English cottage or English look, where you might see white or natural stone colors in a French, or use them on kitchen backsplash, fireplaces, and accent walls. So wallpaper is coming back in, and they're wallpapering ceilings. So not only are we doing our walls, it's coming all the way over onto the ceiling. This is not wallpaper of the 90s where we did one pattern on the top of the wall, another pattern on the lower part, and then a chair rail in between, or a border at the top. Today's wallpaper is not like that. The prints are larger, they're open. I think they're a lot more fun, and we've got some great colors. I also brought a very beautiful traditional wallpaper, which would be great in a bathroom, powder bath. If I were going to do wallpaper on the ceiling, it would be a very small powder bath or someplace that it's not in a main living area. I think it can get pretty heavy. So wallpaper is back, so embrace it, don't be afraid of it, and use it. Just another way to put character and personality into your home. Just like when I use the word trend, I'm not talking about trendy. Trendy comes and goes. A trend will cycle a good 10 years. Important thing to remember is always be true to yourself, decorate your home from within yourself. I mean, you really want people to feel the personality and the character that you have. I think if you're always decorating your house for resale, you never really have a home. You never feel like it's really yours. So embrace some of these new looks that we have up and coming. I think they're a lot of fun. We can mix our painted pieces with our wood pieces, lighten up your colors, although there are some very dark color trends that are coming our way. Another thing that is coming back, and this is something else that I love. On our pillows or our draperies, we are embellishing. This, it could be as simple as a contrast welt cord, or you could find some wonderful tapes and make a design on your pillow. And if we want to be really luxurious, we can put a beautiful ball fringe and some buttons. I mean, just a lot of different options up there that we have available to us today for decorating. Some other things that we have going on are vintage and antique pieces. This is a vintage table. It has been painted and updated. The little footstool is vintage, and that is an original finish. But our chair is 18th century, and it has been reupholstered, but it is a beautiful piece. Embrace those too. Again, it's character. You will see a lot of reproduction pieces similar, but I really love the character that old pieces have, and yet it's sitting to a relatively new piece that I've only had for a couple years. So a lot of different things, like I said, are going on. Vintage pieces you can find pretty easily, and even a lot of antiques. We have several stores around town that you can go and look. A lot of ways to find things that you might want to incorporate in your home. And mixing modern with antique or vintage, again, a lot of personality. And I think that's very important when you are decorating your home. So some of the other things, florals. Florals have changed, and I don't have a sample, but they're now going to dried florals. Just take a container and put dried florals, all of the same kind, not mixed, beautiful arrangements. Those are still around and will continue to be around, but just for those little accent pieces. We've been using a lot of ferns lately, so they are stepping aside to some different looks. The average time that we redecorate our homes is between 8 and 15 years, and a trend will go a good 8 to 10 years generally. So get on the bandwagon now if you're going to jump into these and enjoy it for a while. It's just a lot of fun to do new and different things. Area rugs, again, different looks there that you can do. Just like when you're color scheming your home, one of the best things to do is to start with either a fabric or wallpaper or a rug. You know, here you have some great opportunities where you can pick your light creamy background, or you can use a nice green color. But if you wanted to update your gray, there is gray in this background, which would be great. And this would just be a nice soft look because some colors, your gold and your whites, can be very cool. You might want to just another way to create warmth. Green is always good because to me it feels like bringing life into a room, just like little topiaries. Whenever I see greenery, I just feel like it's a warm, welcoming room and that there is life there. Again, very different things that we can do. We also have classic traditional looks, which never goes away. And I know many, many people have blue and white ceramic pots. So our classic try a little blue and white striped wallpaper, and let's dress it up with this beautiful blue and white fabric. You could do on a couple chairs or on drapes. And then have a little accent. It keeps you all in blue and white. Okay, we crashed. But we'll bring her back. And it would be easy to add an accent color to all of this. But I know blue and white never goes out of style. People have ceramic pieces. They use them in every style. I've seen it in contemporary. I've seen it in country. I mean, I've seen it in many different homes used many different ways. So again, very traditional. We're not moving away from that. It is always round. It is classic. You know, so that's something that I think every home should have something a little traditional. The other thing that is stepping aside is painted furniture pieces. You know, we've had these turquoise and pinks and all these different colors. Well, this is where the natural wood is replacing a lot of those pieces. And I'm not saying get rid of them because I have painted pieces. I love them. And I think it offers a nice relief from everything being wood, especially if you have all hardwood floors and then you have wood pieces. You know, whether it's an armoire, a buffet, kitchen table, you know, there are so many ways. Bringing in painted pieces is a lot of fun. There are opportunities, like I said, today you can do anything, you can find anything. And when we do come back, we're going to take a little break. When we come back, I'm going to talk about color trends for 2023. And quite interesting what's going on there. A lot different from where we've been. Hi, and welcome back. I am now going to talk about paint color trends and color trends for 2023. As I said earlier, we were talking about white on white and grays. Well, there are people who are tiring of white. But a way to keep your farmhouse look is maybe to use a warmer white. We have some beautiful warm neutrals here. This is shiitake, and we have kestrel white and antler velvet. I love these colors when they're used in a monochromatic way. and adding lots of texture in your pillows, your fabrics, your throws. So anyway, as we are warming up and moving away from white, it can be a very soft, slow. You don't have to just jump in and all of a sudden do color and then be disappointed with what you've done because there's so much color. Our next color trend is umber undertones. Umber is a brown gold undertone in paint colors. Here you're getting really warm and cozy, creating a really, oh gosh, almost a cave or cocoon feel with these deeper colors. And being used in monochromatic ways where your sofa, your drapes may all be varying shades of these colors. So three of my favorites are Toile Red, Antiquarian Brown, and Olivia Ostero. Don't know who she was. Not leaving anybody out here, we have some soft pastels. Opaline, Morning Sun, and Wallflower. This wallflower, this pink and almost lavendery color is getting really big right now. I was out shopping and saw a lot of women's clothing with hints of this color and a lot of it in this beautiful pink lavender. And this is a color that you are seeing a lot in French country cottage or French country homes. Like I said, we've moved away from the bright colors and we're softening. And another easy way to just add little colors to your white environment, use some soft colors or soft prints and warm it up that way. We haven't seen these for quite some time now, our jewel tones. And our jewel tones do have the pure color. You know, you've got your burgundy or grape color, your blues, and your forest green. Interesting, at market this year, sofas are being shown in your burgundies, your navies, your greens. The white on white and the cream are not very many in the showrooms. It is color. And the other trend in sofas, we're moving away from a 2-cushion or a 3-cushion sofa, doing just a bench seat. Again, it's a cleaner look, just gives the furniture industry another way to make you buy stuff. But these colors, you know, they are beautiful. And I am seeing the ceiling still staying a lighter color when you're using these dark tones, which is very different than the moody, muddy colors. And the way that they've been showing these, I mean, these are grayed down quite a bit. You're seeing it on the wall, on the trim, on the ceiling, on the sofa, on the drapes, area rugs. It is just loaded on. Interesting thing, if you're going to do that kind of look, if you have a lot of trim in a room, then you paint your walls on a different sheen than all of the trim. So let's say if you were going to do this nocturne, you did your walls in a flat, but all of your trim you might do in a satin so that you can still see there is trim there. This is not a trend that I think I'm going to jump onto, but I think it's interesting. Painted trims have been around for years and years, and I'm glad that we're going back into some colors that we haven't seen for a while. Again, this is going to give you a cozy warmth, just a good feeling. And in these dark, moody colors, we've got carnelian, nocturne, and sea serpent. Another thing, when you're selecting paint colors for your home, there is a really simple way to make sure you're getting the right color. A lot of times we'll just put a paint swatch up on the wall and we've already got a color there. Well, if that's the case, you're not going to get a real effect of what that color is. You want to put your sample on a white board. So whether you're using a little paint sample that you buy or ordering samples that you can put on a board and then mount it on your board, move the sample around different times of day to different walls so that you can see how it's going to act while you're trying to make that decision. You know, because walls, especially, and if you're going on top of another color, it's going to take 2 or 3 coats, especially if you already have dark walls. Of course, if you have lighter walls or white walls, it's not going to be an issue. So paint colors are definitely changing. We are seeing color all over. In our jewel tones, I have Fabulous Grape, Indigo, and West Haven. And I really do like this green. Again, we might want to just use these as accent colors, not maybe on the wall, just for a little bit different, bringing in something different. I do like the brightness of the jewel tones versus the muddy look of the dark, moody colors. And again, I think if you're going to go to these deeper colors on your walls, whether or not you do your ceiling, doesn't matter, but you want to have proper lighting. Hopefully you've got some big windows in that room to let in natural light, but may need to change your light bulbs out to LEDs so that you're getting more lumen output and brightness. Dark colors like these can absorb 75 to 90% of the light that's in the room, whereas your lighter colors may be 5% to 25%. So if brightness, if you're somebody who gets seasonal affective disorder, you probably don't want to go to real dark colors like this, which I understand. But again, big move away from the white on white and the gray that we have seen for the past several years. So we'll see how this trend takes off. And when we talk about trends, like I said, a trend is something that's coming in and it's going to go up, it's going to peak, and then start waning down. Whereas trendy is going to go out next season, or you might have it for 2 seasons. So perhaps if you think you want to do something boho, I wouldn't go real heavy into it. It's something that you could tire of very quickly and may want to move on. Styles that stay around for the long haul are your classic traditional, your French country, English country, your lodge looks, cottage. And cottage is a little bit different than country. So, you know, these are the basics. Everything trends, we did go through a trend and still are of modern and contemporary furniture and looks, which that is one to me that seems to go out of fashion the quickest. A lot of the furniture is hard, it's rectangular. Sofas may be lower and not as comfortable for taller or long-legged people. So these are all things, you know, when you're out shopping for furniture that you want to consider. Another thing that you are seeing come back, since we're talking about furniture, is a little bit of a roll arm or an English arm instead of your flat, narrow track arm that we have seen, and that again, working with contemporary and modern looks that have been around, again, for at least the last 10 years. So as we move away from that and we're doing warm and comfort, and another way to add some texture and color is the use of ottomans. We are seeing that come back around. For a while we had ottomans that we were using as coffee tables and in different ways. Well, that look again was all over market. So the big ottomans that you use either to put your foot up or as a coffee table, or maybe just a couple small ottomans that you can tuck under a sofa table, but you pull out when you need extra seating, or you put them in front of a fireplace, maybe in a hallway. They are great pieces, and there are even little storage ottomans. There's big storage ottomans. So just another way to get, again, it could be a fun, really fun pattern, especially if you have a couple of small ottomans, to add some of these bright colors without committing to a wall color. You know, to me, this would be very heavy. Like I said, I'm not going to embrace dark colors. I love light and bright. It just makes me feel good. So other furniture trends that we see, other than the vintage, antique, we're seeing, you know, definitely big change in sofas. And I would say in a lot of your case goods is where you're seeing the natural woods and not so much in painted woods. Uh, in your kitchen, dining room, you know, back to natural wood tables, we have seen the white apron and legs with the dark stained top, and then maybe stained chairs. And that is a look that you are still seeing a lot of, is a natural wood table, but the chairs might all be painted white and have a bright print on them. Just another way to mix it up a little bit. Kitchen islands are still big in kitchen trends. So, there is a lot of different ways that you can personalize your home and add charm. Some of my favorites, of course, are wallpaper. I love wallpaper. I have textured walls. I have wallpaper up on them. It just can help bring a room together, can really finish it off. The other thing to know about color is all your warm colors, you know, these dark, moody colors actually advance. So if you're putting them on a wall, you know, when people say, oh, dark colors make your room so small, no, the dark colors, if they are muddy colors or have warm undertones, they are going to advance and it will feel smaller. Now, if you're staying with cooler undertones, your cooler colors actually recede and can make a room feel larger. So even though these are deep colors, because they are cool, they kind of step back. Same thing in your lighter colors. Of course, your yellow is definitely warm, but in this soft pink color, that is definitely going to recede, as is this pale green, so that you will have a more open, airy feeling. In our, oops, that's fallen. Yes. Like I said, I love color, and whether you bring it in accessories, maybe in the way that you do your books. Here's another trend. For a long time now, oh, it's been a few years, people have been taking the covers off of their books and just showing the spines. The other thing they've been doing is turning them around or covering them all in white. Personally, I want to see my books. I want to know what I'm going to grab and open, and many of them I use for reference. So I'm not a big fan of that. Some people like the really clean, if you are a more contemporary or a modern furnished home, yeah, then I would probably take the covers off and just have the beautiful books sitting on the coffee table or in the bookcase. But like I said, I want to see my books. I want to know what I have. I'm kind of glad to see that one go away, because having a shelf full of just all cream isn't very interesting. And people don't learn anything about you. You know, whereas if you have your book showing, people can look and they'll know a little bit more about you. My house, of course, is mainly design books, although we have others. They're downstairs in the men's area. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining me today, and hope you'll come back next time when we're going to talk about tablescapes and floral arrangements.